Sindi.
Why are you starting it like that? And you laugh. Come on, Jay. That's not a proper icebreaker, but you're making me nervous, man.
No, because I was trying to remember your name. Because I'm thinking Sindi Serape, and I'm thinking, is Serape the name or Sindi is the name?
Cindy's the name.
And every time I think Sindi, I'm thinking, is Sindi spelled Cindy or
Sindi?
Because
it's a continuation of a name, so I just chopped it off on Cindy.
Oh.
So the entire thing is Sindi Sile.
Oh, Sindi.
But Cindy's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is it better? Because you name yourself.
Yeah.
Or is it a childhood thing where people cut it short for you?
Yes, they did, because I grew up in a Tswana background. So Sindi Sile was just like, what is that? So Cindy was better for them.
Okay.
But I have the same name twice.
You have that?
Same name twice.
How?
Sindi Sile and Polos.
Ah.
Same
It's
thing.
like Gift and Mpo.
I was gonna bring that up, but
So edgy.
But I have a friend whose name is Gift and Mpo, and I came in with that name, so.
It's like Hope and Tolofelo.
Here we go, but mine are not in English, so I'm pretty much okay.
Okay. Tswana background, where?
Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Yeah, but it goes in deeper.
Okay. But Kimberly is also more Afrikaans. So can you speak Afrikaans fluently?
Save it Afrikaans, yeah.
Like full on.
Yeah, but I just hope my high school career just will play part into it. Because I forgot like a bunch of words, like betlemtuen and shit like that. I don't even know what that means anymore.
Like, do you speak it and can you write it?
I can write it, but speak it kind of dodgy with that. But I can speak pretty much more average. I won't say average, above average.
Yeah, you should be able to like properly
Wow.
hold your own.
Yeah, but sometimes I just lose my sentence in some way.
So in high school, what languages did you do?
It was English and Afrikaans, yeah, and then Tswana at home.
Okay. I mean, your home language is always your home language.
Yeah.
You get. And I think the older you get with your home language, the more potent it becomes. It just comes to you.
Yeah, like right now, like this lady that I work with, she looks at me like, yo man, why does your Tswana sound like that? Sounds. I'm like, yo, if you go to Kimberly, they don't speak like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to refine it more and more and just learn the language. You know, like it makes a lot of sense if you can speak like your language properly instead of just speaking English properly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just taking time to learn Tswana quite a lot.
Okay.
Like there's this one saying that I love so much.
Oh yeah.
You know that?
Yes.
Like beauty comes with things.
Exactly.
Because mom's is a Tswana teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you must have some good literature books.
Hell no, man. Like they took me like on the other side. My sister and them, they were good at like Tswana poetry, like fluent. They could tell the time. Can you tell the time in Tswana? No.
Yeah.
Can you? Jerri, how impressive are you, man?
I can.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Half past, like what is half past? I don't know, man.
You must listen to Motsweding FM.
I used to, but like it got too annoying because family was just listening to it too much every day, and then it's like the fucking noise, man.
So you grew up in Kimberly.
Yep.
And then you did matric. Did you know what you wanted to do?
Instinct, yes, but family, no, because now my decision was based on me and my family as well, because they had to pay for my fees, right? So the only thing that was encouraged was either engineering or architecture, because like it was familiar in the household. So like, why don't you try architecture? And then I did more research on it. My sister took me on like a job shadowing at her work every holiday when I was in Joburg, and then it was nothing that I thought it was, because she was just working on a wall or a bathroom wall or two walls. That was it. I was like, nah, this is not what I wanted to do. And then I was doing jewelry back in high school. And then when I went applying for school, I started off in UJ, and then I realized jewelry wasn't my thing.
What do you mean you were doing jewelry in high school?
In high school, I was making like these beads and jewelry and necklaces and chains and stuff.
Just as an extra thing at home, or like was a school subject?
No, school subject was visual arts, but I was doing that on the side just to make some money. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go to UJ, you realize this is not your thing.
Yeah.
And then
I took what do you call this, like a prep course in fashion, just to like familiarize myself with it, because there wasn't like any formal or training, like I would say background training, because I would just like be interested in clothing, but never have I sewn with a sewing machine before. But a lot of like handwork I used to do. But because it wasn't encouraged upon at home, I decided no. And then later on, my sister would vouch for me, saying, "Oh, maybe try it out. You know, you've tried jewelry, you've tried architecture back in high school as a subject, as EGD." And then I realized, no, that's none of mine. Let me just try this clothing thing. And then the prep course was finished, and then I fell in love with it. You know, I saw more than beyond than what I was seeing before, when I was just interested in like cuts and color of clothing. And then now it became in depth. I started seeing clothes on people, kind of, yeah.
So the prep course was at UJ still?
No. This was at the institute that I graduated from, Cape Town College of Fashion Design.
Okay. Oh, so you did the whole UJ thing.
Yeah, and then I just
it didn't work out.
It was a lot of people.
Okay.
I can't do a lot of people.
Then, are you in Johannesburg at this stage in time?
Yes.
With your sister, obviously?
At that time, yeah, she was helping me run around trying to apply for stuff, yeah.
Then you pack your bags and you say, I'm going where?
Cape Town. I had no family that side, so I had a bit of freedom.
So you didn't go to Kimberly, from Joburg to Kimberly?
No. So I went to Kimberly. Now it's frustrations of not getting school because I applied late. Because now you need a portfolio in order to apply for any creative, you know,
creatively inclined degree or subject or diploma.
I didn't know that, so I thought maybe you just rock up and then you just show your APS and then you get in, because I did pretty okay in high school. So I thought that was just like a way of getting in, and then no, you needed a portfolio, and then I didn't submit. So I had the fear of losing out, because now friends of mine were going into varsity, you know, and I'm the one that's just struggling to get in. And then I went to Cape Town. I saw this institute online. I was like, okay, it looks cool. There's pink and blues, and it looks kind of like aesthetically pleasing. And then I just went in.
Okay, wait you
am I confusing you?
No, it's not confusing. I want a chronology of order for how things work, because obviously you get to Cape Town. Have you booked like accommodation or what? Because I'm asking you these questions, right? Because if there's somebody in high school trying to figure it out, it's not like you just pack up, you get to Cape Town, then you find an institute.
but it might have happened that way. The funny thing is, like,
you didn't know anybody at Cape Town.
No one.
So where were you staying? Did you book your accommodation? Did you find accommodation?
Like telephonically, you know, like I had to, because no one came with me that side. Like all I did was give first bumps to my grandma, aunt, and my sister, and everyone else. Like, yo, see you guys later. I just graduated from high school, man. I don't know. I haven't been to Cape. Nah, I had been to Cape Town, but not like staying there now, you know. So I think we made a few phone calls with accommodation that side, and then the guy said, "Now, okay, now you only pay once you get here, so we can't reserve anything for you. You have to pitch." I got there. I didn't even know the area. It was Athlone, the area. It's like behind Rondebosch East. Got there. I didn't like what I saw, but I was like, what choice do I have now? I don't know where to go in and look for accommodation. And then I just ended up there. And then I just found my way, you know, trial run going to college, you know, the day before. It's like figuring out the route so I don't get lost using the train, because I had to use like 2 trains getting to school. Yeah, that was it. So chronology from point: applied at UJ, got rejected, went to CTCFD.
What were you rejected on fashion?
All of them. Yeah because no portfolio again, right?
Oh, true.
And then once I did my prep, and then I applied to all varsities there were, like that offered fashion, which was TUT, UJ, not Durban, and the one that I was at. And then they offered me a bursary, then I stayed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I did pretty damn good, eh?
In what?
In clothing, because it was.
When did they offer you a bursary? When you applied?
No, after.
Because
I think I was overworking myself just so I can be the best at what I can do, or just maybe close to the best. And then then they offered like, yo, do you want to stay? I was like, yeah, why not? If you guys are offering me like free tuition, then I'm here.
So you got a full scholarship?
Yeah, for 4 years.
Sure. Well done. And what do you think made you work so hard? Was it subconsciously because you went through this rejection from UJ? You were never really fashion inclined.
Yeah.
You're not coming from like, my mom was a seamstress, my dad was a tailor. You know, that kind of upbringing of other people. Yeah,
that too. But like the one thing that I was actually like at the back of my head, I think more 3 things, right? Friends that I had were from like very like, I would say, wealthy backgrounds. So number one, you can't afford the fabrics that they buy. You have to make do with whatever you get. Like, you have to be super creative. You have to know more than them. And then the other one, I would say it's rejection, trying to prove my point. You know, like, yo, I actually deserve the spot. Like, I was fighting for the spot that I didn't even know was it reserved or was there a spot even, you know. I just had to overdo or overwork everyone. So when classmates of mine were asleep like around 3 a.m., I was sewing, reading something, listening to like an ebook about something, and then I was always tired. But like there was so much that I knew and absorbed at that time. So then they couldn't touch me. Now it's like, yo, okay, so is your background maybe fashion club? Like, no one actually sews.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. And then the other thing, so it's the rejection. Yeah, also being a black man in clothing in South Africa. Yeah, I had to show up.
You're not gonna elaborate on that. What does that mean?
It's kind of rough for us right now.
Use your words.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's difficult. Number one, I wouldn't say like South Africa is leaning towards. It might sound politically incorrect to say that South Africa is leaning more towards like women, and there's some sort of like a neglection when it comes to funding, when it comes to like guys. I don't know, I might be wrong because I've tried and then it has failed because the space was reserved for female. So now you have to work twice as hard. You need to figure out how are you going to get funding, how are you going to get money for this, bursaries and this, while everything was reserved for like for women. So I couldn't be angry at that or be disgruntled about like the whole fact. I just had to show my worth, so that when I apply for something, it's like, oh, okay, so this guy's not about his name first or gender first. It's more like, okay, his capabilities of doing something. So that was my point.
Yeah. I think that's such a everything acknowledged, but I also think that it's such a broad like topic. Yeah. Like it needs to be contextualized so that we can unpack it, because there's also this like generally like most of the designers, they are actually men.
Yeah, but now again, the one thing that I've also experienced being, I wouldn't say a black straight, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I was always sidelined, yeah, because
so there was also the sexuality element to it.
It's like I never fit it in ever in my life. Ever since high school, I would say primary school, I looked weird. My clothes were weird. I was wearing skinny jeans. I was wearing weird clothing, and then high school came along. I was wearing things that people were like, what are you doing, you know? And then later on, would I actually be more accepting to myself? It's like, yo, you know what? I don't care what other people think. I just have to pursue anything that I do. Yeah. But rejection has been a thing that I've lived with and understood, and then just make peace with it. Like, okay, sometimes you might not fit here, but like maybe if you try to make your own room in that establishment, maybe you'll be okay in there, and invite all the weirdos.
Okay, so you got into this institution. You did your prep work for 8 to 9 months.
Yeah.
You proved your worth. You're a bag of salt of the earth. They want to keep you. They offer you full scholarship for your stay if you're interested.
Yeah.
You stay, you experience Cape Town, you do all of these things, you graduate.
Yeah.
Did you graduate with a plan?
Yes. I knew, I think from second year or late first year, I knew what I was trying to do, more or less. I knew where I had to go intern. I knew that I had to work hard and intern many other guys like OD and Cleo and all of them. I did that for free just so I can learn what they know. I didn't know what they know, so I learned from them. And then I wanted to go to like Japan and all of these places, but I first had to like sharpen my skills. So never got an award for pattern making ever, fashion design, yes, but I was more interested in like construction and how to bring about something to life before then. But that my only plan was just to intern as a pattern maker at House of Monatic, which happened. So now I'm just pursuing being a pattern maker and also designing for my own thing.
Yeah. And soon after okay, can you speak about your graduation collection? Okay, take me through it.
Oh shit, my interest, it was what I was seeing, where the music was going. I'm a big hip-hop guy. I was brought up in hip-hop. That's what I like. The knowledge comes from there.
By the 3-4 women in your life.
Yeah. The balance, right? I felt like, okay, this thing was coming back where people were just wearing like very comfortable clothing, very loose, clothing, oversized bag. I was like, okay, so what's happening? I don't know where it came from, but I was just seeing things. And then
where you seeing it? Streets of Cape Town or internet
streets? When I go home during the holidays, I see this thing play back.
What year is this?
This was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I go home, like Kimberly.
Yeah, you're right. There was a big 90s revival.
Well, yeah. Like I didn't know where it came from, you know. But when I went home, so like I would always draw from home, you know. Like everyone at home is either blue collar, and a very like I would say 20% are like white collar people, you know. So everyone that I was exposed to, either like mine workers, like they would have their day at the mine, then on Fridays they dress up, right? In Kimberly, same thing. So these guys prided themselves with like the uniform, like these blue overalls. I didn't like the shade of blue. So I was like, okay, so why are they wearing this? And then you start seeing, okay, so my granny used to wear like an overall, even though she was not working at like a white person's house or anything like that, but like she was wearing overalls all the time just to keep her clothes neat, because she was working every day, maybe sweeping the yard or doing dishes. I was like, okay, what protective gear is this? Why can we not do a hybrid of this fashionable statement, which is hybrid of utility, and then you don't have to overthink it, you know? That's just like one part of the story. And then we go in, and then I'm like, okay, so what are we trying to do with clothing? Where's clothing going? Are we going to couture where we just wear this thing once, or are we going into a place where it's sustainable to wear the same garment 10 times in a row, so you can maybe it's your favorite item, maybe it works well with the conditions or the climate that you're under at work, or whatever the case is. And then I figure, okay, so why can't I do clothing that are stylish and that have a purpose, you know, that actually work for you every day? And then the design aesthetic of it just came from the orange, actually, like this Kimberly sunset. Have you seen them? The sunsets in Kimberly? How orange they are, how beautiful they are.
I think I might have saw it whilst driving from Africa Burn. Because you're closer to the earth.
Yeah.
It's like Northern Cape.
Yeah.
It's Northern Cape.
Yeah, it's so brown.
What orange. Is that town when you go into?
Which one? In Northwest?
No, in Northern Cape. Before you're driving to Namibia. What is that?
Shit, man. You're on the other side, eh? Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah, like the orangeness of that, like it just brings like a warm feeling. I remember coming from, we had a family trip from Paris, and then we came in, and then I was doing all this comparison about cleanliness in South Africa, but like the one that just shut me up was the sunset. I was like, oh hell no, this is beautiful than anything I've seen so far. And then I was like, okay.
What, are you seeing it as you're landing with the plane, or what?
No, now I'm traveling because I missed my flight, right? So my family's like, nah, we're not gonna buy your flight ticket, catch a taxi, son. So I caught a taxi from Joburg to Cape Town. Okay. They were spiteful. And then I just saw the sunset. It was
tough love.
Yeah, the most beautiful thing. And then I use like two shades. It's the charcoal gray. Kimberly winters are the most crude. Like they're so cold they burn you. And it just looks like this gray that's just not friendly. So I use those two Pantones to express like where I was coming from, just with the color. And then the utility wear just came from there, and then everything else was orange and gray, maybe whites in there, but like I was just playing with those mediums of like utility. That was it. And
which was it? Women's wear?
Hybrid. Yeah, I wanted to use women to present my work, but they said no.
I always get hybrid. What is the difference between non-gender and hybrid? Or hybrid is just a mesh of women's wear and men's wear?
I think you can wear it if you want to.
No, I'm just talking from technicality.
Okay. Yeah, I think if you say hybrid, then you're bringing two elements together, right? Like you're bringing female and men's, right?
But what patterns were you using?
I was using men's blocks.
Okay.
But they were ill-fitting on men too.
Okay.
So you could get away with them as
ill-fitting because you cut a little bit extra.
Okay. Yeah, like I would say the crotch was kind of low, so it doesn't look like it was for men. Maybe it looked like a drop crotch. Some silhouettes were like a crop top with elongated like 3/4 sleeves. So if you're a woman with a big bust, then this will fit you because now it's loose. The sleeves are kind of stylish, so men and women can wear them. So I didn't want to have too many like I would say gender restrictions to the clothing. I wanted anyone who wants to wear it. If you feel like it's men's clothing, then yeah. If you feel like it's women's clothing, yeah. but I was presenting them as menswear because there wasn't, or there isn't a big market on menswear in South Africa. So I was like, they said, no, go in there, you know, and focus on menswear.
So the Kimberly sunsets, the brutal winter of your hometown, you know, that induces this gray color palette, the workwear of your surroundings, because Kimberly, obviously, it's a mining town.
Yeah.
And obviously you grew up around these things, and you also frequent home whilst you're still at fashion school, and you're working towards your graduate collection. Do these things influence you when you're sitting down and you say, I'm working on my collection, then they all come rushing to you, or you were picking up elements as it comes and goes?
I don't think it came all at once. I do a lot of like introspect. So I was just trying to be like more like, I would say, authentic to my story, and just say where I was coming from. And you know, Kimberly's not maybe like it's not given the light which I think it deserves. So I just felt like, you know, why can't I speak about home in that light? You know, not speaking about it in the, oh, we have a big hole, we have diamonds and things like that, but like speaking about the people that inhabit Kimberly, you know, the culture that comes from there, and how it influenced like South Africa as a whole, you know. So when that story came about, like where I was, because I write first, it might be in broken English or whatever the case is, but I penned everything down to say exactly what I wanted to say. And then when I went home, I was just uncovering things that I wasn't really paying attention to. But now it's like I was reading into like home and people that make Kimberly instead of the structures that are there, you know. So I had to ask like the older guys, okay, so how do you feel about this and so forth. And then all that information that I gathered, because now, okay, I understood where I was trying to go, but I had to bring an element of home. So I was doing my Q&As with the guys, and then I'll sit down. Okay, it's like, okay, so this is how they feel, this is how their outlook on clothing. The reason why their clothes are always clean is because of this and that and this. But some things like the sunset and the winter, that only came later when my color palette would be informed. It didn't come all at once. I didn't even know I was going to use orange. I didn't know whether I was going to use gray, but it all came at once when I put the colors together. It's like, oh shit. And then later on, when I break it down, even after the clothing, that's where I could identify like, oh, where this color comes from and where this color comes from. I wasn't informed at that time. Only like, I would say a year later, I would understand like, oh shit, the orange sunset. I saw it in 2015 coming back from home. Like when I realized like, oh, the orange is like this, you know, the gray, same things. Like it only happened like later on, because I feel like I'm still going on a journey where everything will still uncover itself, because I'm still trying to figure out who I am and where I come from, and how can I play my story into this while taking people's body and likes into consideration while I'm telling my story accompanied with their wear. I shouldn't be only selfish to say it's only about me, the design is only about me. It's like what does Jerri want, and how can I take Jerri's opinion or interest and bring mine together and then just mash it up. That's my idea. Like I just want to solve problems, like clothing problems. That will take a while, maybe sustainability wise, trying to get my fabrics here and there and there, but like it will happen later on. But right now I'm just trying to solve like clothing problems. Like what do you need in your clothing? What should your clothing do for you? That's my interest.
Yeah. And at what age did you do your graduate collection?
How old am I now?
How old are you now?
24.
Okay.
2017. How old was I? 3 years. 2 years.
I'm terrible with mathematics.
Phew, I should be brilliant, but I think I was 20, 21.
Okay. Yeah. And where do you think you got the capacity to intellectualize a graduate collection? You gave it a treatment of a postgrad. You gave it a treatment as if it was an MA, basically.
I would say.
Did you ever think that you were doing that when you're doing it? Because hearing you speak, it sounds like, oh, this sounds like something you could
put
continue and do an MA on.
Yes, I would say yes, because my year mates were more interested in South Africa and opinions of their friends and older friends who were in fashion, but
we're making chopped up just stuff that don't make zero sense.
Yeah, like I would always ask them like, what are you saying? you know.
And what would they say?
They thought I was forward, like they hated me in class because I was asking the most questions. I wanted to know more. So when I would look at kids from Central St. Martin's who were developing skin or leather from McQueen's DNA, I was like, guys, are you seeing what the other kids are doing on the other side? For them, it didn't matter. I was like, guys, we competing globally. Like, what are you saying? Like, you cannot just be doing things for the sake of doing it. Like, do you know what kids are doing around the world? Like, we having a global conversation, and you guys are just stuck on. I just want to do this for the sake of, you know, impressing mates. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying, because I'm seeing what these kids are doing, and I'm trying to level up to them. So when we're having the conversation, I can sit next to them and say something. That is my thing. It's like, I cannot belittle myself because I'm from Africa or supposedly I have less information on something. It's like, no, I do my study based on here. They do their studies based on their side. So why can't I be, like, you know, confident enough to stand with them and say, yo, but this way I got my things. Hey, we might be behind, maybe like 50 years behind on fabrics and fabric development, but like I can still speak to you on this. If you give me your resources, man, I can show up too, you know. That was my confidence in what I was doing. I knew that I was saying something. I don't know what it was, but I was just trying to, like, take this story and bring it to life, because I don't think people are paying attention to artisanal workers or blue collar workers, even though they create most of the things that we have around, like our buildings and plumbing and things that we need are made by, like, blue collar workers, but no one ever dares to respect them. But if you go abroad, that's when you realize, like, a nurse gets paid equivalent, maybe close to a doctor, because their craft is respected. But this side is more like, you're a nurse. What is that? You're an assistant of a doctor, you know? So we don't respect our career paths in South Africa like that. When I went to Paris, like, clothing, they weigh clothing above health, you know? I was like, why don't we do the same? Why can't we pride ourselves with clothing like that instead of just doing fast food? That was what I was saying.
Yeah. What did you title your graduate collection? What was it called?
I just do nameless, like it was name brand for like a Pick and Pay no name.
Is that where your,
like, name brand comes from? Yeah.
Current fashion brand
comes from? Yeah, it's like name brand. It's like
but where did name brand come from?
Nameless. I don't want to title it. I didn't want to focus too much on the name than the clothing.
But what made you say, I want it to be nameless? Was it because you are struggling with coming up with names? The frustrations of that? Because that's also a real thing.
Yeah, like that one is like, do I really want people to wear Sindi Serape? Like, what is that? Like, would I really want to, like, even if as Sindi Serape, would I want to, like, put a t-shirt and brand you with my name? I was like, nah, man, that's kind of selfish. Why can't I just call it, like, nameless, like no names? Like, even with the branding, it's like name brand, like insert your name somewhere between the brackets. So now if you own it, it's your name, it belongs to you, so your name plays part in there. I just carry you with the brackets, like, oh, you part of us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you graduate, you do your internships here and there. You're still in Cape Town at this point. For how long? How many years?
I think it was an extra year. So I did my internship for a year at House of Monatic. That was the end of 2017. So I just got my internship just before I even graduated, because I was just liaising with them. They were taking too long with the process, and I just rushed up to their doors like, yo, send you my application, like, what's going on? It's like, oh, yeah, you can start on the 26th. Yeah, you can start on the 26th. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm still doing my graduate stuff then. I can only come on the 30th, or I can't remember, man, but like, yeah, it was ongoing, and then I started, and then blah blah blah.
So you're relentless in your pursuit.
Yeah.
And then there's always this conversation about, like, people need to be paid to intern, yada yada yada. And here it's somebody who just recently graduated, and they knew the value of interning without payment because you wanted something out of it.
Yeah, it's like, if you're really interested in what you want, like, you will do anything. Like, because then my family was helping me with, like, rent and, like, to make life a bit easier for me.
Sindi was privileged. He had family who paid for his rent.
Guys, but I worked hard. Yeah, but
I'm just being facetious, because that's also like a real
thing, you
sensitivity
know,
that we spoke of earlier.
You know, And then they were helping me out, paying for my rent, stationery, living expense, you know. So I could afford to intern for free because I was getting something from home. It's like, what do I need the other additional cash for? It's like, it felt like extorting people. So graduating, I take my graduate collection. I was encouraged to actually apply for the fast track, right? By my, should I say superior? Or the head of my college, yeah.
Did you know of...
A friend of mine once said it before a few times, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. I didn't know what it was about, but until I saw like names like, I would say Tebe, he's a homeboy, Rich, I saw Tshepo on it, I saw Neo, and I was like, ah shit, I know these guys. Maybe this is a good platform. And then I applied, and then I became a finalist, which was quite cool. And then competing.
What are you thinking when you apply? You're just doing this thing, or you're just doing it?
You know, the weird thing about applying for things is like I have this demeanor about winning before I even win. So when
you went in the positive mindset.
Yeah, like when they said I was a finalist, because I was once a finalist for this other bridal competition. It was a lot. It's like the cash prize like 300 and something thousand. Media was worth like 100 and something thousand, and I was just a finalist then. I was in first year, mind you, you know. And then this comes along. I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm tired of being a finalist. I'm always a finalist, you know. Why can't I win this time? And then I looked at all my competitors, the guys that were in this. Like, okay, cool. I see their strengths. So how do I knock it out of the park? Do my research again. Like, how do I continue the story instead of just ending it there? Because now it was more like a 4-look thing. So how do I create a 7-look, which will one day equate to a collection of 70 something pieces, you know? So I'm merely just like throwing singles out, or a mixtape. Yeah, a mixtape. The album's not out yet. So I apply, and then years go by. Now I'm under House of Monatic as my own internship, which I applied for. And then funny enough, House of Monatic was also housing one of the finalists. Now it's me, I'm under their roofs. Like, oh shit, you even here, come on in. And then I went to the merchandising department, but I was still a pattern maker at that time. So I'm running between merchandising and being a pattern maker, and also overseeing my process in terms of like making these garments. So every day I had this good friend, Kaji, who was like sitting me down. He was well aware of clothing, you know, like he's a proper menswear designer. And then he would sit me down, explain things like, how do you create a story where nothing lacks, where one thing ties into the next, but it's not as blunt as you using color only, but you can use a certain stitch, you can use a certain shade of something, you can carry the fabric through, you can tag it this way. So he made me think about it more than just color, silhouettes and something. He looked at like the finer things that I wasn't seeing, you know. And then my eye got trained from that experience. Like, okay, how do I look at a stitch? How can I carry something through instead of just, you know, ending it there, you know? Like, how do I make it like a cohesive story? Move along. And then my graduate collection as a advanced diploma, so I was showing that collection as well. So now this is an add-on. It didn't look.
What is an advanced diploma? It's like an honors.
BTech.
Okay.
BTech, yeah, more like a degree level. Yeah, so I get to that point. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I show for college. Doesn't look right. Something is missing. Like off. Like I'm looking at this collection. I'm like, I won't win with this one. You know, it doesn't look right. And then I go back to the drawing board. Like, okay, what's missing? What am I not seeing? That's tying in. And then I go back to the drawing board. I add things like your leg warmers for hunting or camping, you know, like the ones that will cover your shoes so you don't get dirty. Brand them accordingly. I add more other things that are more outdoor, indoor, comfortable. Like, how do you make it more fashionable? So I'm adding all those elements in, you know. And then show day, AFI, fast track, I missed my flight. There's a chronic disease of missing flights. Get to Cape Town, everyone is pissed at me. I'm like, oh shit, might as well just lose this competition. Now I'm already moved this side. I'm like, okay, shit, I've lost the competition because I've left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. I'm late, I missed my flight, I've costed people money. The models are not here, so I have to do this tomorrow. I have to rush, I have to do this. I have to sew at the hotel as well because I'm not finished yet. And then show day comes along and then I win, which was cool. It's like, oh shit. It's like, oh, I saw this coming, but I was hesitant about it because I I had too much doubt, too much preparation, doubt, and then I took the #1 spot.
What was the theme of your collection?
Yeah, they gave us a theme like way.
No, but what did you title it?
It was still, I think
Untitled,
it was capsule.
Oh, you worked with Untitled,
Unnamed. Yeah, it was more like the
unbranded.
First, yeah, the first, like, more like that's your first capsule, that's your second capsule. That was it. That was #1. That was #2.
Chapter 1, chapter 2.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah, I'm not good with naming things, eh?
Okay.
I think if I have kids, I'll just give someone that responsibility. I don't want to regret it. It's like, yo.
To name them point gift.
Point gift. Yeah.
How did it make you feel? Like you were in that moment. Like
which moment?
Like winning this competition.
You
winning money. This Mutsipes congratulating you one side, and there's Suzy Menkes on the other side.
I think.
Like, what do you feel?
The Suzy Menkes one was actually like, man, it was the craziest thing, because I got these documentaries from Terry while we were home. Was it Easy and I? No, was it Dio and I? I'm not too sure where she said something like, this WhatsApp. After that line, I took that with me wherever I went. She said something like, Mr. Dior never experimented like his wildest ideas on women. You'd always like enhance their beauty. I was like, God damn it. So you don't have to be a selfish designer, like you have to cater to people. You have to make sure that they're okay, and then you'll be okay when they're okay, I was like, God damn it. And then on that day when they brought Suzy Menkes to come and, give me a shout out, Tevez is standing there. That was the most beautiful thing. I'm like, hey, mind you, that guy over there, he's the one that gave me the documentary that made me acknowledge you. So thanks to him that you said something which I carried through with my designs. What you said then, like I've embodied it in like my works. Like I look at people first more than I look at my selfish thoughts. It's like, oh shit, really? It's like, yeah. It was the most beautiful moment. I think that moment was the most beautiful moment, more than my name being announced. Winning was more like the curse.
Speak on it.
You win and people have these expectations of you.
Like?
How a winner behaves. The winner's jink. You never bounce back after you've been so relaxed with your title as being #1. Now people are giving you this love that you are not familiar with. I'm used to being the outsider, never given love. I'm okay with that part. So if I get acknowledged or I wouldn't say celebrated for that moment, it's confusing for me, And then I just tend to like right now I'm just doing my homework again. Like I'm helping Tshepo with these patterns, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me duck down from all the attention that people want me to do. It's like, are you gonna show at AFI again? When are you showing? So now there's this expectation like I need to show annually. It's like, no, I don't have to do any of that. I'm gonna continue learning more. If I decide to show in 10 years, that's what I'll do. But at this point, I'm just refining, because this is a marathon more than than a sprint. I need to perfect this thing. Again, the narrative is we're having a global conversation. I cannot half-ass people. I have to make sure that everything, I can sit next to Dries van Noten and talk to him about why his cuts are. I can question him. I want to question him. I want to sit down with Raf and ask him like, yo, but like, I don't feel that pocket though. Maybe if you placed it a bit higher, it would have looked maybe appealing. Have an opinion which is validated by you doing time with something, not just, sitting Capital 4 and thinking that you have an opinion because you're sharing the stage with these guys. I want to say something where they'll actually, pay attention to, I think that's it.
Okay, so I'm not going to hold my breath for a collection in the near future.
Don't do that. I'll give you songs. Instead of albums, I'll give you songs. And
you now based in Johannesburg,
yes,
and you work for Tshepo the Jean Maker. How did that come about?
I'm freelancing.
Yeah, you're a consultant pattern maker at
Tshepo Jeans.
Tshepo Jeans.
Yeah.
From Tshepo the Jean Maker to Tshepo Jeans, it'll be future be just Tshepo.
Yeah.
I see
You see it coming?
I see it coming.
Yeah.
How did this come about? Did you know of Tshepo before?
Yeah, like the weird thing is we're having a conversation. It was the first market, and then friends of mine were having conversation about like, they were asking me like, why is he selling t-shirts and hoodies? I was like, okay guys, but they were against it as a jean specialist. They felt like he shouldn't, and I said maybe that's his bestseller. You cannot just sell denims. You need to sell something that accompanies the denim as well, you know.
A full line.
Yeah. And then the conversation went, and I was like, okay, so this won't help anyone if we don't help him. I feel like we should help him instead of just standing here and just talking shit. So how do we take it forward? It's like, okay. But they were not proactive about like helping or going forward with the
Who are these friends? Are they also in fashion? You don't have to name them. They're just people having a general conversation.
Nah, they have interest in fashion. They have interest in clothing, I would say.
Everybody has interest in fashion or clothing, but they don't know how it works.
Yeah, true that. But this guy...
It's like you don't hear people speaking about mining and digging grounds.
No.
Because they're interested in jewelry.
Exactly. It goes there. It doesn't go with the process.
But that's also another different
story. You know, like they have, I think, their knowledge lies on videos and not actually like sitting down and knowing.
Okay, so uneducated opinions.
Yes,
Let's move on. You did something about it.
And then I came into the workshop and then I saw what they were doing. They were short on staff. I came in and then I just asked like, who's doing your patterns? They said there's no one doing it. And then I looked at the denims and I felt like they could be improved on, you know, like I think I have something to offer. But I'm not just gonna stand on the court side and say you can do better. Maybe, you know, I figured let me come in, help him get his quality up there or his patterns up there, and then, you know, we can have that conversation, you know. And then it's like, okay, cool, let's see what you have to offer.
I get a sense that you're not really interested in developing or coming up with a fashion brand name.
No,
I think you want to come into the industry as a solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Why can't I be the bulletproof vest? Oh, you need a bulletproof vest? Yo, here we go.
So do you think you would ever start a line? I don't think so.
You don't. I think
you're gonna be one of those people who just experiment, just drop something and just let it go. But not set yourself up as a house, a fashion house.
Okay, let me just break down my idea of what I do, right? So there's name brand. So name brand, I look at it more like the parent of. So under name brand, there are divisions underneath, you know, that make the brand. So I am an employee of name brand, even though I'm the designer of name brand and maybe the owner of name brand. I'm also an employee of name brand. So when I consult as a pattern maker, I'm under name brand, right? And if I'm assisting you, liaising maybe to get your product out, maybe you want to have a t-shirt line, then I can take you to where I print it and run your whole production for you. That falls under name brand clients, you know. And then the clothing that name brand does, more like an appetizer for people to look into name brand as a solution of like, okay, so they do this, but they can also do this for you. So my thing is to care for clothing from the top to the bottom, because I'm more leaning towards production, because no one wants to do that. They find it to be more tedious than designing. People just want to draw stuff and see them to life, but like I want to see the entire process so I can learn more about bettering my quality. You know, that's number one, how to get your quality up there. So I wouldn't say I use people's ideas as a test run for myself to get my things correct, because I'm learning. As much as I'm taking all these clients, I'm learning on the job. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I'm successful. Mostly I'm successful, but I fail too. But I'm failing at the cost of, because I don't have money to just run ideas every day. You know, I have many ideas, but like I have to run them through someone or different channels.
What do you wish for yourself, for your business?
I have to say it right, because I'm saying this to the universe. My initial idea was to take this, I wouldn't say Kimberly first. We have a big crisis on unemployment in SA, man. Kimberly has been going down the drain for the past 20 years. Crime rising, unemployment rising, and you understand like how those things come about, you know. So as I would say, as a resident or being born from there, I do not want to be just like a factor where I just speak about, okay, we can do this better or whatever the cause is, but like what are you actually doing? So I wanted to take what I know. That's why I'm doing so much like laborers work in terms of factory work. How, like, I'm not the best at sewing, but I can guide a seamstress on how to sew better, because I feel like the construction that I've made, it can help you do things better. So I want to take all my knowledge and take it back home. There are many factories closed there. They're just vacant. No one uses them. There's machinery that's just lying around because factories close. They don't even make like dishcloths in Kimberly or face cloths or uniforms. So why can't I take what I know, a bit of what I know, and take it to Kimberly, where maybe you can employ like 50 people? Those are 50 families, mind you, right? You don't need a lot to sustain yourself in Kimberly. Like, there's free housing. 5,000 maybe will help you maybe buy groceries. Transport is not even a thing in Kimberly. You can walk to your destination. So you can take that, pay for whatever you need to pay for, and also extend on your skills where you can offer like services to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be making like an extra 5 on the side. That's 10. You know, like making dresses for people. Then and there you have a job. Maybe you have a weekend job. You do this, because that extends. Because I've done it personally. I do it from time to time, you know. And then it helps you quite a lot, because people are afraid of hard work or hard labor. So if I can extend something like that, where I can educate like ladies back home, there's a lot of boredom going on. I'm not saying I'm gonna solve the problem, but I'm just saying I'm gonna be the helping hand. Maybe there are other guys who think like me. Maybe I should talk to them. I don't know who they are. Maybe we'll have a meeting somewhere somehow. But like, if our conversation maybe can, you know, meet somewhere, and then there's a tech guy, I'm the clothing guy, there's someone who does something, then we can just like impact something, not change it, just impact. Maybe the next guys will take it further. That was my initial idea with this clothing thing. And also eradicate clothing in the future, where you can have like devices where you just tap on something and then your clothes can grow on you like cells, and then we don't have the whole sustainability thing where clothes can just grow and just erode on you at the same time. That's what I'm hoping for. That's the 50-year dream. The 20-year dream is the factory. The 50-year dream is eradicate clothing through digital.
What do you know for sure?
What do I know? The population is getting bigger. I think we are on 7 point something billion. We're going into maybe 8 by next year. That's what I know. Scarcity of resources, that's what I know. Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
Create something of value. Create something that people can, you know, carry instead of just fast food, because there's 7 billion. How are you going to help the 7 billion? It's going to be a lot of us. Competition is growing by the day. That's what I know. And if you create something that's going to last, then it means it's like the Buttons family. They create buttons, you know, buttons are here. Still going to be here. That's what I know. Is Cindy going to be here forever? Nah. But will my ideas stick around? I hope so. I hope that. I don't know if they're going to stick around, but I hope that whatever I do will somehow just rub off on someone, and then they can take it to the next point. Every day I just live like it's my last. So every idea that I have, I just throw it out there. It might not be the best one, but like I'm just having a conversation with someone who people are fearful of their ideas, you know, being taken by someone else. I'm like, oh, that's kind of scary if you're fearful of that, you know. Ideas are just meant to be shared, you know. Yeah.
Cultural radar. What do you think is moving the needle right now?
Money. Yeah. I was a hippie for believing that I believe love is, because love is what drives me. But like, love with no money, oof. Those are hard blankets, eh? That's a box for a blanket. That's a box for a blanket. I don't want that. I understand what money can do for you. People look at money as like the evil tool, but like, I know what money can do for you. Like, what's a design without money?
How long did it take you to know that money moves the needle?
My granny, like when I was 15, I was coming to Joburg to buy stock, like those Zulu t-shirts. There's a leopard print. Yeah, I was coming here when I was 15, coming to like buy them and resell them in Kimberly, you know.
Granny of the year.
Yeah, like she would let me like just
sending a 15-year-old to Joe.
It's like, yo, go. I was like, nah, but like it was my business. Like she had her own business. Like, you know, she was dealing hers, but like she had confidence in my thingy, because it didn't just start there. It started off with the sweets when I was in primary school.
Everybody has a sweet story.
You have to have a sweet story, man. I think that's where all entrepreneurs are birthed from. I was selling sweets in Kimberly, like Kimberly boys. Like if they found those sweets on you, they confiscate. Friends of mine, like, you know, there was this one day, I think Trevor might not remember this, but like I bum rushed him when he was in Kimberly. I was like, yo, buy my beads, man. It was my loof. It's like, oh, what? And then he bought, you know, like I was aggressive with my hustle, but like I understood like what money can do, because my family wasn't giving me quite a lot for allowance. Yeah? Like friends of mine were getting like a lot. My granny said, like, guy, in this world you don't get anything on the house.
But you were getting trips to Paris for holiday.
Man, like, work hard.
You mentioned love. How do you define love for yourself?
Love, unconditional love, or love is something that you give and not just get. Love is with no expectations of getting. If you give love, I just feel like it's a give thing. It's not a get thing. You will feel a lot. I don't know, maybe it's a selfish thing, but I just feel like if I show love or give love to you, you don't necessarily have to give it back to me.
So how would you feel if somebody said, how would you feel if you said to somebody, I love you, and they just kept quiet?
That's okay. I said it. I said what I wanted to say. I even find it corny if you say you love me too. If you say I love you too, it's like, why you feel pressure to say it? Like, I said it. You don't even need to respond to it. At home, we never exchange the word, eh? I've never said I love you to, maybe to my aunt recently, like I'm trying to build that relationship, you know? But we never exchanged the word. Like the last time my aunt told me that she loves me, I was maybe 12.
But maybe love, sometimes it's something that can be felt. That you don't have to announce it.
That's what I'm saying. My gestures are pro-love than hate. I tend to give more of myself than what I can get, and I don't even expect it. If I just feel kind of like, you know, a bit bitter if I greet and then you don't greet back. That's the only thing that offends me. But that's the only thing that offends me. But my thing is, I just give love, man. Like if I help you while you're falling, I don't hope you to pay me to say thank you. I just hope that you will help someone in that position one day if you see them. Just continue the love thing so we can go in a cycle, then just end there.
What do you know now that you didn't know then that you wish somebody told you?
What do I know now? Oh. I might have an answer for this, like a proper answer, like in the next hour or so, because I'm going to think about it. But for now, compassion. If you look at the word, it sounds like I'm just talking about being polite to one another, but like it works in a sense of collaboration. Once you have compassion over everything around you, you start to acknowledge other things that you can collaborate with. I'm not talking about as a designer, I'm talking as a person, right? We tend to look away when we look at plants. I look at Jerri and then I was like, you know, if I just make your day just tad better, just like it changes the whole atmosphere, how you're going to behave to the next person. So now you realize like you have power within you to change a situation. Like if you look at plants and you acknowledge them for who they are, like, yo man, like you're responsible for the oxygen, you know, water, air, people around you. It's like you have control. Like if you just can practice compassion, you can do so much. You can do things without paying. I'm not saying that should be the only way, but like that will be like collaborative powers. Like now we can talk, we can have a conversation, now we can live with one another without thinking too much about. It's like now I can acknowledge you as a person. I think that's the one thing that we don't have. Sex has divided us, race has divided us, class has divided us, but like if we have compassion, like look at how all those things just disappear, because now you can see all the finer things. And I think that's why I tend to focus on uniform more than anything. It's like, how do I bring these people to the conversation, because they're not looked at? How can you bring the importance to the stage, you know? And that was just my idea on compassion. It's like, how do we all live together? That's my self-study. I tried every day. I tried to meet at least 5 people a day that I didn't know, greet people every day. I'm trying something new every day, that when I go to bed, I can say, okay, God, if you decide to kill me now, I'm ready. I think that's my end of day prayer. Like, okay, I think I've done everything to my ability today. I think, yeah.
How do you define God?
Words.
For yourself.
For myself, because I'm in this field where I know something needs to be created and there's a creator for the creation. I feel like I'm not responsible for everything. I think there's a higher voice amongst us or above us, that I just think there's a voice, but like if you put your faith onto the object or the mirror, then you're creating this figure. But like I just feel like there's something beyond me and above me. Yeah, there are things like those, but like I'm still learning more about myself. I'm young, man. I'm 24.
You're young. You're very young, and this has been such a refreshing conversation to have with you. I think you're very smart. I think you're very intelligent.
Oof.
And I think you're going to be very successful, however you define success for yourself.
Thank you.
And you're going to achieve a lot of goals.
Thank you, Jerri. I think I just want, out of this life, I just want excess. Is it money? I don't know. I just want to be able to do anything, not anything as in like kill people or anything, like, or do harm, but be in a position where I can empower, like, you know, without having to suck up to anyone or having problems, monetary problems, because we face that quite a lot, as you know. But like I just yeah, again, that's the color talk, but like I just, yeah, like excess. If that's success, I think excess is my success. If I can, money, no. It means with excess that I can go into a dealership and have a conversation and walk out with a Benz. That's the type of excess that I want. Not everything should be weighed on money, but it is excess.
Okay. Yeah. Close it off with 2 lines of what is your daily prayer?
I'm praying. Okay. My daily prayer asks for wisdom and good health.
I think at 24-year-old you have some bit of wisdom and you're still in good health. May it all continue.
Good health. Good health, yeah. Bad health can mess you up, eh? And if you're blinded, you might stumble upon walls and break bones, and then now you have bad health. See how that works together?
Great.
Thanks, Jerri. Good?
Done.
That was beautiful.